Long Way Home, written by Eva Dolan, read by David Thorpe. The moral right of the author has been asserted. Prologue. The last thing he remembered was the pattern on the carpet, barbed strips of indigo and puce-like bruises inflicted by alien implements, then a steel toe cap coming at his face. Now there was blood in his mouth, a seep, not a flow, and when he probed with the tip of his tongue, he found the splintered terrain of broken molars. His hands were tied behind his back, feet bound with the laces out of his work boots. Through his jeans, he felt the barn's concrete floor, cold and wet, a spray of broken glass under his right thigh. That was a distant and unimportant pain, nothing that would kill him. The pain in his head, when he tried to focus on the barn door, that might. He heard men's voices outside, shuffling feet, then the clang of a metal gate. They were moving the pigs, bringing them in to feed. He had to get up, get to his feet and get out now. The blood was singing in his ears, running out of his broken nose down the back of his throat. This would not be the last thing he saw, this rank barn with its asbestos roof and barrels of dead chemicals. He would not die here. If they wanted to kill him, they would have to catch him out there in the fields, in the darkness and the filth. He rolled onto his back and brought his knees up to his chest, hooked his hands out from behind him, swearing as his flailing leg caught a metal butt and sent it ringing. The rope around his wrists was wet, the knots quickly tied, and he managed to pull his left hand free, skinning his knuckles. With shaking fingers, he unpicked the laces knotted around his ankles. Outside, the voices were rising, not enough that he made out the words, but he heard the tone change, the new belligerence. It made no difference. No one was arguing to spare his life. The barn door shot back, and he saw the floodlit yard. "If you've not got the stomach for it, fuck off back to your old woman!" a man shouted. His heart was thundering, deafening in the quiet of the barn, and ahead of him he watched his breath billowing hotly into the air, wondering how many more times that would happen before the last long one blew out of him. He swore at himself. One-on-one, he was as likely as anyone else to win a fight. That's why they had come for him in the middle of the night, knocked him out while he was sleeping, tied him up and gagged him. They were not the hard men they thought they were. He moved into the shadows, hugging the wall. The pigs were trotting in, dozens of them, snuffling and snorting, huge pink beasts, spotted with black, barging against the metal rails. He could smell them, saw the heat rising off their backs in the glare from the floodlights. There was no way out, he realized. He would never get across the open yard unseen. How many of them were there? His brain lurched. 3 men in the caravan, was it? 2 standing over the bed, and a disembodied voice nearby. He remembered the walnut stock of a shotgun near his face as he fluxed in and out of consciousness, was sure he had smelled the oil on it. The front third of the barn was lit now, and he saw arcane machinery ranked up but rotting, blades blooming corrosion. There was nothing small enough to use as a weapon, nothing he could get his hands on without being seen. He wanted to be at home. He wanted his warm bed and his warm girlfriend and the familiar glow of the streetlight coming through the curtains she made him buy in IKEA. He wanted to close his eyes and roll over and press his face into her hair. A rat darted across his foot, escaping from the pig pen. The animals were rootling in the straw, snorting, impatient for the food they couldn't find, knowing it was what they had been brought in for. He stumbled, aware of voices now, loud, coming closer, and the sound of a rifle bolt ramming home.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?